Good morning, everyone. It is October 2nd of 2025. It's such a beautiful autumn day here in Canada. And we're excited to bring you a meditation. Jerry's going to call in the corners, and then he's also going to do something special. He's going to do a bit of a release for everybody. And then we will also do a tarot pull. We don't really have anything to pull on today, even though there's so much happening. We're just going to let Spirit guide us and do Spirit spin. So, Jerry, I'm going to mute myself and you can take it from.
Great. Thank you, Marcia. I call now to the four directions, to ether and to the breath of life. Guardians of the East, welcome the winds of new beginnings. We call to the guardians of the South to ignite the fire of transformation. We call to the guardians of the West, sacred waters of memory, to carry what is no longer mine. Guardians of the South, steady our bones and root us deep into our mother. Ether, great mystery, hold us in your formless embrace. Feeling into our hearts now, we call to Spirit to empty our vessels of stagnant, untrue distortions. Repeat to yourself, I release the belief that I am not enough. I release the story that says I must earn love. I release the lie that abundance is for others. I release the inherited shame passed down through our bloodlines. I release the voice that tells me I cannot. I release the energy of blame, punishment, and fear. I release the mask of victimhood that was never mine. This garbage does not belong to a sovereign soul. We are not here to carry this anymore. We are not here to suffer. We are here to choose. And today, we give ourselves permission to choose to be free. Beloved source of all life, heart of creation, may the eternal river of love flow through us.
Thank you, Jerry. I want everybody to breathe slowly and deeply. Just be in your center. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel the connection that you have eternally with Mother Earth. You are rooted to her. Feel her greet you. Feel her grounding energy coming up through the roots from your feet up to your chakra system. And with each breath, you are drawing her strength upward through these roots. Feel your body growing heavy. Feel your mind settle and calm. Feel yourself grounded into the now, into your presence, connected with Source and Mother Earth. Now bring your awareness up to your crown and feel a golden column of light coming down into your crown center, flooding you with the light of Source. Feel this light going down your chakra system, meeting Mother Earth at your heart. Now affirm with me, we are the bridge where heaven and earth meet. We have always been the bridge where heaven and earth meet. We bring heaven to earth. I am anchored, I am centered, and I am here. Now, with your roots in Gaia and your crown and Source, breathe into your heart. Breathe in the pure light of Source and the grounding energy of Mother Earth into your heart and magnetize it and make it grow stronger. As you can see your heart chakra brightening up, there's a tint of pink. Now a deeper pink. Now a bright pink. From this light, envision a new earth where humanity lives in true alignment. See that earth. Now see the people on that new earth supporting one another, smiling at one another, greeting one another, loving on one another. See them shaking hands, see them hugging, see them sharing and growing together. Now see them so excited, talking amongst one another, sharing ideas that are coming directly from the divine, ideas that will align with humanity's highest good and walk gently on the earth. See a light coming into everybody's crown with all these amazing ideas, and see them listening, and see them building, and see them creating this new earth together. Now hear the laughter ringing in the air. Hear the joy. You can actually see this. You can see the vibrations. It's light, it's strong, it's joy, it's happiness. Hear it, see it, and feel it, and breathe into it. See trust woven into every relationship and life celebrated fully on this new earth. Each soul awake and attuned to the higher guidance and flowing with divine wisdom. Now bring your attention to the earth itself. I want you to notice the trees, the forests, and see them, how dense they are, how green they are, how full of life they are. The trees have birds flitting in and out. You can hear them chittering and chattering and singing their song, contributing to the joy of the earth. You can see the animals in the forest. They seem very different. They are more connected to humanity on this new earth because we are walking gently on this earth. See everyone in unity, Mother Earth and the stars. See them honoring our role as children of Gaia. as family with humanity, as kin to the animals, and as star seeds embraced by our cosmic parents and the universe. See this vision alive, families and friends gathered in joy, communities creating together, nature restored and vibrant, and spirit guiding every step. Now breathe into this vision and feel yourself actually there. You're not looking from above, you are not observing, you are there. And affirm with me, I choose this timeline. I create this timeline. We are sovereign. We are creating this together in unity and in love. Now I want you to place your hands on your heart and take 3 slow breaths in and out, in and out, in and out, and anchor this feeling of balance and clarity and unity. And just know that we are there. We are already there. It's our choice. Now come back whenever you're ready. Now, everybody, why don't you unmute yourself, and then come on back when you're ready.
That was fabulous. Great job, Marcia.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, thank you, Marcia and Jerry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I really appreciated, Marcia, how well you painted the picture and tied it and really created it and left it in the 4D for me to work with. So thank you. Really appreciate
You're
you
so
too.
welcome. I love doing it.
Definitely have a knack.
We have been practicing, that's for sure. It's actually really, really fun.
Yeah, it's really was terrific.
So I wanted to welcome Pam into the circle. This is her first time here. And we welcome you into our little group here of creating the new earth and just kind of trying to sift through whatever's happening in this here earth together. Do you guys want to pull cards on anything? What do you guys want to do? You guys are all muted, just so you know.
There's a few things I guess we could talk about. I guess probably the biggest thing on people's minds that may be new, that actually come across this video, stumble across this video, may have some questions, and they're welcome to post those questions below when this does make it to YouTube. But this is a transitional time that we are going through. We are, you could say, well, I guess just look behind me and you can see that is a symbol for the heart chakra. So we're moving out of the lower realms of survival and emotional reactions, sexual traumas, all those types of traumas. We're releasing and letting go of the stories of of maybe just what's the word for non-abundance, Larry? I'm having troubles of lack. That's the word I'm looking for. We're moving out of lack, perceived lack, and we're discovering that the earth has always been incredibly abundant, and we are the earth. We are connected directly to the earth. So this is a remembrance is what this is. This is all of these events we see externally are there to help guide us into remembering who we are and taking back our power. And that's really what we're seeing right now is the transitional phase of no longer needing the lower guidance, which served a purpose. We did this for thousands of years, and now it's time for a change, which some people say is the age of Aquarius. You can also look at it as different beings being asked to take over the role of helping humanity evolve itself further. And usually with evolution comes revolution. So that's really what we're seeing is a revolution of the mind. I think you're kind of getting that with your tarot pull this morning a little bit with that. I think you mentioned the Ace of Swords, did you not?
Yes, I did. So for everybody, we had a bit of an oopsie yesterday with our video, and we pulled on the October energies. And hang on, I'm just typing in chat. So then I couldn't post it, and that was quite horrible because it was such a fun one. But I did a little pull today, and instead of telling me the deep dark that we already know what's going on in the world, we already feel it, we already see it. The cards were talking to me about how do we navigate this. So the Ace of Swords was saying this is like a war for your mental thinking, for your belief system and all that stuff. So that's what Jerry is referring to. Is that what you were referring to, Jerry?
Yeah, that's actually, it's exactly it. Our attention is where the energy flows. So I gotta try to be careful with my words here. I don't want to sound like it's coming from a point of victimhood, but it's more that we've had dark teachers on this planet that are psychological masters of the mind and know how to manipulate the mind. And we've basically created their version of Earth through our ignorance. And ignorance is never blissful. No matter what anybody ever tells you, ignorance is not an attractive quality. Ignoring is not something you want to do. We're learning that lots right now through our food system. That's a really huge topic. We could, we're realizing that a lot of our food is toxic. So it's creating a lot of havoc in our thinking, in our feeling. So we're just rediscovering the power of herbs right now. We're starting to shift into more of a wellness state. And what that does is it helps externally, we begin to see the mirroring process. And so as we're beginning to clean ourselves up, we're seeing the outside of the world getting cleaned up too. So there is lots of, let's say, parasitical systems that feed off of our currency, our energy, keeps us into that state where we have the choice now to break free from that modality. So this is probably the most wonderful time to be alive. And if you're here now listening to this, there's a great chance that you're one of the rebellious types that comes to these planets to help set people's minds free. So congratulations for being here.
So as you were talking, Jerry, I was pulling cards and I was actually shuffling and cards were falling out. As you were talking about needing to not ignore and this and that, because ignorance is not the way we want to go. I got the temperance card. So the temperance is all about balancing, right? And then I also got the Knight of Wands card. And this is actually really great for me, is because I have so much fire inside me and I need to balance that out. And that was a message that came through with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, was that, yes, do not ignore things, because I always had a hard time ignoring things, and then I was also feeling really silenced through the whole jabby jab stuff. So then I got the message saying don't ignore, but when you speak and when you feel that fire, the Knight of Wands, do it with intention and do it from your heart space. Right? So I don't feel silenced anymore. I don't feel like looking at things is like a bad thing, or not looking at things is a bad thing. It just feels good, you know?
Yeah, Martian, that's a great example, because you don't have to like convince anybody of your the way you see things, but you can just say, well, I don't really fully agree with that version. I see it this way. And what that also does, it enables the person to shift their viewpoint, and they can see, well, geez, I want that person's seeing it this way. How is it that they're able to see it that way? As long as they're not in full on denial, because denial is wow, it's just basically avoidance. So yeah, I hear what you're saying, Marcia.
You posted something yesterday, Jerry, about the ostrich and the fear, and how ostriches stick their head in the sand. Why am I hearing that right now? Yeah, but you were saying the ostriches don't stick their head in the sand. They're looking for eggs. I'm super confused. So, like, can you clarify on that? Like the fear people and the ostriches. There was a combination. It was so interesting, that symbolism that you were saying. It kind of
It's
feels
a
like,
great metaphor.
right? Is it aligned? Like, if it's not aligned, you don't have to say anything about it. But I feel it could be aligned with what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, it's ostriches can't fly, so they kind of lack the freedom too, right? So they also run up to 70 kilometers an hour, so they can defend themselves with deadly kicks. So they can protect themselves. People who are fearful can access immense hidden strength when cornered. So yeah, so I think that's kind of where we're at right now. We're a lot of we're getting cornered into what we were talking about a bit yesterday, and that was the digital ID, which of course will be a digital currency. So those two kind of go hand in hand, and that's really the big control system clamping down. But we have to allow that to happen. We have to be completely ignorant, and lucky for us, we are not completely ignorant. The majority of the people are really seeing with open eyes. If they're getting the downloads, if they're out in the sun, if they're starting to get cracked open, their fragile eggshell mind starting to expand a bit more. And sometimes it's not always easy when you start to see things differently than you thought they were. But that's part of the mental game here, is to be able to allow the information and sit with the information. Don't react to the information, just sit with it and process it, and integrate it. And anything that shows up in your purview is always there for your greatest growth. So denying your growth is denying who you are. And yeah, it's never a good channel, good road to go down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all those, sorry. A contrast is important too. And so it's of great value, in my opinion. Like if you look at the major arcana and how we progress through the major arcana, I know it isn't lateral or linear, but it kind of is, as well, as we, because we're kind of end up in that spot for thinking and through moving through the practical and then the emotional and into the spiritual, right? So as people evolve, so what you say about people not what did you call people who aren't paying attention or who don't know or haven't started or whatever? Jerry, what did you?
Well, it's based on fear, so it's a resistance to love is what it is. They're in resistance to love, though ironically their soul is crying for connection, crying for love, but they're not able to do it because there's basically it's like cellular memory that's lodged in their cellular memory that they can't let go of. So they're attached to the old stories, they're attached to the old programs, which is separation consciousness. I mean, it all serves, you know, it all serves our growth, it all serves an expansion. So it's not like it's a judgment, but it's just a matter of realizing. I mean, all these so-called negative events, you know, our psychic ability just starts to get activated.
I
So
think that's right.
it's time to get activated
That's
and
right.
not get, yeah, don't get
There's
reactive. Instead, get
consciousness.
activated. Yeah.
Realize when you're getting reactive. I don't completely agree with the phrase. You may remember I'm a trainer of NLP and hypnosis. So
Yeah.
so language is really important to me. And so I don't that's what I mean by the contrast frame. I don't entirely see things as don't get or don't do something. That's an awareness point. That's a trigger point. What, in my opinion, we want to train ourselves as you watch the Fool going through the major arcana and also through the mundane of the minor. We want to train ourselves to begin to acknowledge and perceive and have the tools to take action when we get triggered in a positive and productive way. Right. So I do see the value of that contrast. I get what you mean. You don't want to, you don't want to buy real estate there and build a house and do all that. But realizing you're in the wrong town or you're off direction of where you wanted to go to Chicago and now you've ended up, somewhere completely different, I think is a really important
Yeah. It's a stair
tool
step.
for us. And that's, in my opinion, that's the swords. And that's what the swords are for, is cutting away what is not fruitful and what is not necessary. It's a decision environment. And I think contrast really helps with that. So I'm not against triggers, right? And I'm not against falling in. And I just encourage, the quicker you can catch yourself doing that, the better off you will be, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
That's
Yeah. So
excellent. Well said. Yeah, and I love that you brought up the awareness because the awareness is key. You have to, and that's part of being sentient, a sentient being is to develop your awareness. So, yeah, awareness is everything. It's awareness of your words, awareness of your thoughts. It's yeah, it's crucial.
yeah, it's like,
My
the game Hearts, where I don't know if anybody plays the card game Hearts, where someone has to drop a heart on the before hearts can be played, before you can lead with hearts. And that's what I kind of think we're doing right now, is that we're like dropping hearts on the play because it opens the space where hearts can lead. Do you know what? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I mean that's exactly why we come together here, so that
Yeah.
we can grow and learn and to unconditionally love each other where exactly where we're at right in our because it takes the body. I think it's something like 7 years to
Really?
recalibrate information. Yeah, so every cell has to be recalibrated. So it takes a while. It's not a quick fix. It's something that you have to be well, you have to be willing. I mean, really, it comes down to suffering, right? Do we want to suffer or do we want to embrace the wholeness of who we are? I mean, suffering will bring you to wholeness eventually because it's just a matter of just being out of alignment. So you're not really in your center. So, and that's kind of what humanity has done is that we've pulled ourselves back like an elastic away from our center. And now we're just kind of snapping back. So and becoming balanced. So
It's in, it's
it's a
interesting you
beautiful
say
gig.
it's interesting you say sevens. Do you guys follow the Kabbalah at all as it overlays with the tarot? Do you do the three layers, like the first, like if you take the Fool out as 0. And then you lay the 21 cards down in rows of 7. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this. Are you familiar with this?
No,
Keith,
but
do you work with this?
yeah,
No,
tell
okay.
us about it.
So, so you take I have it laid out on my table. I've been working quite a bit with it because I come from, I met the cards when I was like 16. I was remembering, I think with Marnie last night, actually. And I was dating a guy who I guess was into black magic. I don't know. That's when I met them, but we were smoking drugs in the basement. So it didn't really mean that much to me. And then I met them again a couple of years later with a friend of mine in high school. No black magic whatsoever. But I think it was in her head because she was quite good. She was an extremely intuitive young lady and a longtime friend of mine. And at one point she pulled the death card, and that was the end of it. Because she wasn't very, like, we're talking like the mid 70s, right? It wasn't like you go on the internet now and you get whatever you want. You really had to be willing to kind of dive right in. And so she dropped it, and then I met chakras, and then it's been like an evolution since I was 16, obviously. So when you say we're meant to be here, I agree with you 100% on that. It doesn't always feel that way to me, but when I balance myself, when I ground myself, I realize that there's great value in that perspective for me, for sure. But so I've been studying them more. I'm actually teaching a young lady. I'm reading tarots at like the trunk sale near me every Saturday morning. There's a trunk sale. People go and they sell their junk, and I'm selling tarot readings because I can, and because it's fun and it's great practice. And there was a young lady who said she would like to learn how to read them. Not that I'm like a wildly proficient, but I come to them through the Kabbalah and through the mystery school of the occult, the hidden, to study them. And so this is an aspect of that, of the tree of life. And so the first 7 cards go from the Magician to the Chariot. If you lay them out into 4 rows with the Fool up top as 0, which is when you were talking about not knowing, like there is a beginner's mind that occurs, right? And so people come in with that, and then the Fool walks off the cliff, and it's like, oh shit, and now he hits the Magician. And he goes through the Magician to the Chariot, and that's the practical sort of earth realm, if you will. And in hypnosis, we are trained that the conscious mind, called the critical faculty, develops at around the age of 7. Like that's 7, 8, 9. That's when kids start to realize and make sense of the world, and they start to flatten and objectify the world, because they're making sense of things and they're looking for insight and they're trying to understand. And that's when that conscious mind kicks in. Until then, it's a very unconscious process. And that's where the training and the priming and the indoctrination comes in. That's why when you hear they're after the youth, I hope I can say that, but when they hear that that's the spot that's being targeted, it's a result of that access, that ability to access at a younger age. See, Larry, I hope that wasn't me. At a younger age. And so that's 1 to 7. And those are really practical lessons there. And you were talking about 7, which is why. And then the next card is either strength or justice, depending on how you look, how you're trained. Goes through strength, through temperance. First one is sort of the physical world, the practical world, and then it moves into the mental world, where in the second row of how you've laid out the cards, where we're thinking about, we start to go inside. We actually start to consider things. We begin to see cause and effect. We begin to understand and gain insight and go, oh, that's what happened there. And that's what happened there. And so that's how those two kind of go together, all the way through to temperance, right? And then the next card is the devil, because once you hit temperance, I have it as kind of like, it's compassion for ourselves, and it's also compassion for others. It's kind of an integrity card. It's kind of a, do as I say, not as I do, but that's sort of the reverse. That's the other side of temperance, where we're not really perceiving that everybody, let's be fair, let's be less judgment, let's temper our judgment and our our exclusion to appreciate that it is an inclusive process as we've gone through, as we've gone inside. And then we move into the spiritual to start of, which is the devil who challenges our ego, right? And moves us through that next plane up so that we can hit the world, which is really the fool coming down or going up, rising up to the next plane where he can start the next spiral.
Yeah, isn't the fool is like just all potential, right? It's just it's potentiality. It's unknown. We're taking a leap of faith, right? The temperance card for me has always been about healing. So and when I got a book the holistic tarot book, and it's incredibly helpful. And also I got these like little books too that have like the little, they come with the tarot cards. They're very, very, let's say like 4 or 5 words to tell you what the card's about. But also there's, Pam, there's also a face value too. I look at the face value sometimes because really within your own understanding of the cards is how spirit's going to interact with a person, is how I'm finding. But yeah, the more depth of knowledge that you have with the little caveats of each card helps a lot too. And that's kind of what we're doing here, is we're just learning all the little niches that we don't fully understand, because there is like little hidden pictures within the cards too, right? Like sometimes you'll see like a small figure in the background that you didn't really understand what that represents, right? And there's actually some significance to those ones, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to continue, if you still had more to go on there, just want to give you a little break there so you could catch your breath a little bit because you're on a roll.
Well, you know what? It's a never ending piece, right? Like people study them and it's just a thing that has hit my consciousness now to really dive deeper into them. And so the numbers are actually really important to me. I don't know if you guys work with the numbers, but I find those very strongly.
Okay. Are you talking about numerology now?
I am. Yep.
Yeah. Actually, we just finished with Brad. We just finished if we're going to call it a course. It was an introduction to numerology. Yeah. It was pretty extensive. I think it was like 4 sessions we had with him. So yeah, it was quite interesting because we are in a year 9, so we're finishing up here, and we're going into a year 1, which promises revolutionary process to bring us into a newness, right? So it's witnessing and allowing the old to leave us, because it can turn into good compost.
And that's you bang on with the 9 there, in my perception anyway, because they say it's end of one cycle, beginning of the next cycle. 10 is being the next cycle, but I was trained that it's like the debrief on the project. Right? Like it's where you go back in and you're tying up all the loose ends, so that you're moving on with completion. I don't know if you did landmark, but you're moving on with completion, so that your next step is free of whatever you've got, which is how you carry on your limiting beliefs, and you carry on all of that stuff that you were setting up and doing such a great job, as you called it, as you squared the space, right? So that's the stuff that we want to release ourselves of.
Yeah, and
that's what 9 entails.
Yeah, that's great. And I just finished my year 9 last year, and I moved, so it was an ending for me. And now this is my year 1, and I am creating all kinds of cool projects, creative projects. So what Pam's talking about here is, hey Marcia, how do you say how do we say Pythagorean numerology? I think that's what we've been using, right?
Pythagorean.
Pythagorean?
Pythagoras, yeah.
Say something about tarot though, because thank you so much, Pam. I'm so glad you're here and you can share all your knowledge in that. But that it is amazing. I'm so happy you're here. One thing that I do when I read tarot is like, I don't know, it's just this whole path has kind of um, gotten me away from my mind, right? It is the path from my mind, from the mental into the heart, into the intuition. And throughout the years on this path, I feel that I'm moving away from the mind and just letting the cards speak. Like it is for me, it is like exercising that muscle of intuition, that muscle of listening, that muscle of like listening to source, listening to the nudges. And I'll tell you something right now, the nudges are becoming not nudges. They're like a conversation that's happening all day. Like the trees are talking, the animals are talking, there's messages from the deers, there's messages from the birds. Like it's not, it is so clear. And I attest that to working on the muscle of intuition by using the cards. And I feel that like it is the path of remembrance, as Jerry was talking before, right? Like we don't need to learn anything. We don't need to do anything. We are that thing, right? And it's just like releasing. Jerry did this beautiful release. Like it's releasing all of those layers that we have been indoctrinated with and programmed with. As we release all those traumas and layers, we talked about the trauma transcendence technique the last time. Perfect way to do it. We come back into who we were meant to be.
Hey,
And
Marcia, can I interrupt you? Because I'm going to forget. You
yeah,
just said something really huge there. You said like it was what is it that how you said it? You said it was basically the mind, right? And you're right. We got so much information right now. We got cell phones, we got social media, we got all kinds of yeah. So we have all kinds of external distractions that keep us away, keep us in, basically it keeps us stressed is what it does. And it can keep us stressed at times, especially if you're watching, I mean, look at commercials when they kick in on you, they're like 25% louder than the show you're probably watching, right? So a lot of what we're seeing right now is too much of the mind and not enough of the heart. So we're imbalanced. A lot of us are just incredibly out of whack, and it comes back, and we need to start to balance ourselves and have some time in nature. I'm going to say it like this: have some time in nature, for fuck's sakes. Because I want to emphasize that, it's mother's given us everything we need here, abundance. She's given us everything we need to heal. There's no reason why we need to be chasing money around. It's the way that we're treating the earth, especially. Take your shoes off, step on the earth, and thank the earth. That I just can't even say that without wanting to almost get a little angry about it, because it's so much love for our mother, and you're throwing, never mind. I just hope that this process brings us back to where we need to be.
I just wanted to touch in with Salish. Salish, you just popped on. Do you want to say anything and pipe in?
Now I've been listening to PJ and you two. You're doing a fantastic job. I'm learning a lot on tarot at the moment. Like I've said to you before, it's not my thing. So just a different perspective from PJ, which is interesting. But you'll never see me pick up a deck anyway. I will tell you that much though.
Salish works on the Akashic records, as I've stated before. So that's his divination. He doesn't really need the pendulum or anything else. He has a direct contact with his guides, and he's sending
What
me all these messages as well. So yeah, thank you, Salish.
what interests you
Yeah.
about the tarot, Salish? Salish, is that how do I say your name?
Hey, you can, AKA, you can call me God if you like. It doesn't really matter, yeah.
Gord or God?
God. He means God. I'll tell you, he means God.
Okay.
He's
Well,
joking.
so you
for
got
all
me,
of you.
God.
No, he's.
Um,
I'm with you on
You're
it.
gonna scare people.
no, tarot, I find, okay, before I used to think of it as a joke, seriously.
Hmm.
Then when Brett Johnson introduced Janine, and then I started taking it a bit seriously. And now I find it fascinating because it reveals a lot. Okay? Because a lot of times when Marcia and Jerry are reading the tarot, I'm picking up the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm picking up virtually, okay, it's I'm picking up the ice cream. His is pistachio flavor, mine's almond flavor. That's the only difference, but it's still
Yeah.
ice cream at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing.
it is, and numerology, I think Jerry and Marcia both know. I thought it was a bloody joke, that, but it is absolutely fascinating now, you know. I find it
Yeah.
very fascinating.
I
Well,
love that.
It's a divination tool to help you hear your intuition. That's all it is. So if anybody out there is like wanting to step in and use your power, like don't get scared by, oh, this card means this and this card means that. I mean, it's great information. And I use my books just to see and double check. But honestly, like this morning, I was doing the month of October and I wanted to do it like perfect. There's the mind again. There's the fucking program again. Right? So then I did my card, did my reading, I read it, and then I was like, no, I need to check it. So then I got my books and I checked the same thing, same exact thing. So it's like, just go with your intuition, look at the symbology, and
yeah.
start quieting yourself so you can hear your guides. That's all it is.
And yeah, and you know what? We don't. It's okay to be wrong. Sometimes we're wrong, you know, and a lot of tarot readers are wrong,
I'm
you know.
never wrong. I'm never,
Well, there's
ever
no,
wrong.
Stop saying that. Don't
yeah,
say that.
except for here.
You guys, I have Marnie has reached out to me. That was the phone that was ringing. And so I asked her if she wants to go on speaker with me for the call. I think she's in the car. So I'm just going to put her on speaker with us. Is that okay with
Sure.
everybody?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
great. So
Just before,
bear with
do we
me while
wanna
I get that.
Do we want to keep recording, or should we stop recording? Because this is really, really long, and people are not going to watch the whole thing. We are recording on YouTube, so maybe let's stop the recording.
Yes,
Everybody,
yeah, of course, yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and this was super fun. It always is. So if you have anything that you need, again, reach out to us on our Facebook page, Savvy Say Holistic Healing. It's SAVISEI. And let us know what you need, questions you want us to pull on, and everyone is welcome. Pam is new. We don't know her, but she is amazing, and she is part of the group now. So if you guys want to pop on Zoom with us, you are more than welcome to do that. So does anybody else want to say goodbye, or I can stop? Just say goodbye. Just say goodbye. Yeah.
Peace out, everybody.
They did this, and then they did this. So I know that you didn't see them. But I will just let you know. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.